This movie's a work of fiction when the most morally righteous character in the movie is a writer for the New York Times. Civil War is a brand new 2024 action thriller directed by Alex Garland, starring Kirsten Dunst, Kaylee Spinney, Wagner Moura, and Stephen McKinley Henderson. And this movie came out couple months ago, but if you've been keeping up with my posts on here, I've been a little sick under the weather, so I've been slowly catching up, starting with last week. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Civil War, starting off with the good. And I'm just gonna say, I was shocked with how much I actually enjoyed this movie. First of all, with the acting, it's absolutely fantastic. You got Kirsten Dunst in here. She's the main character, and I really liked her. I really liked Kirsten Dunst in the original Spider-Man trilogy. I've seen her in other stuff, and she's just a very underrated and unfortunately underutilized actress. She's really great in most stuff that I see her in, and honestly, this could very well be her best performance in my opinion. Honestly, I feel like this movie could get her an Oscar even, but we'll see. We're still very, very early in the year. But yeah, I really love Kirsten Dunst. And then you got Kaylee Spinney in this movie. The only other movie I think I've seen her in is Priscilla from last year. She played Priscilla Presley, which is it was a movie about Priscilla's side of things during her marriage to Elvis. Not getting into that movie, but either way, she was really good there, and she's really good here as well. She's pretty much the rookie photographer for this war that's going on, and Kirsten Dunst is mentoring her. I really enjoyed her performance as well. She's probably the best performance in the movie, in my opinion. She's really great. Wagner Moura in this movie, he plays a character named Joel, and he kind of looks like Pedro Pascal, so I don't know if that's a Last of Us reference. Either way, I really liked his performance. He's kind of the comedic relief character of the group, and really enjoyed his performance. And then of the rounding out the group, you got Stephen McKinley Henderson, and he's kind of the voice of wisdom of the entire group, and he's the most morally righteous character here. He's the New York Times character that I referred to in the opening. He's really great. Another actor that's really underutilized. I really like him as an actor. And I like it when he shows up in things, and this movie's no exception. He does a fantastic job of grounding the situations that this group finds themselves in. And then you have a couple borderline cameo characters. One is definitely a cameo, and one is pretty much a glorified cameo. First, you got Nick Offerman. He's the president in this movie, and he's only got a couple scenes. He's the main villain of the movie, though he's barely in it, but his presence is felt throughout the movie. Nick Offerman is a powerhouse actor, and I really, really liked him in this movie. I thought he did a fantastic job in his few scenes, and I really love the way his character goes out at the end. It's been a few weeks. I don't care about spoilers. The whole movie, he's talking all tough and everything, and he goes out like a sniveling coward. That's just such a satisfying ending for a character like his. And then the other final performance I want to talk about, and everybody's talked about it already, and that's Jesse Plemons in this movie. My goodness, what a performance. This guy did not have to go that hard for what was a 2-minute cameo. Apparently, the original actor who was supposed to play this character dropped out at the last second, and Kirsten Dunst, who is married to Jesse Plemons, pretty much recommended him for the role. And he showed up for maybe one day of shooting, killed it, got a paycheck, and went home. Jesse Plemons is just a fantastic actor. Of all the Breaking Bad actors from that entire show, I feel like Jesse Plemons has definitely proven himself the most out of everybody from that show. He's just been fantastic nonstop ever since that show ended, And this movie is no exception. He's so intense and frightening in this movie. I just love Jesse Plemons here. Outside of the acting, you get a really interesting story here. You get a civil war that's broken out in America. Bunch of different states have formed different alliances. And you get this group of journalists who are making a road trip across the country to interview the president before he's taken out and the war ends. That's pretty much the basic gist of the story. And I was really engaged and interested throughout the whole thing, really. I thought that the characters were interesting to follow, and the action sequences that we get are fantastic. Especially the third act. The third act action sequence is breathtaking. I loved the third act. And even when you get some intense moments, you get some little moments of levity, some moments where these characters are just allowed to be human and interact with each other. I love that about this movie, and Alex Garland really deserves his flowers for crafting a movie that could have been so heavy-handed with its message, so over the top with a political message, and yet still being as apolitical as possible. People have said this already, but I went into this movie expecting it to be so heavy-handed with its message that it was borderline unbearable. I went into this movie and I was shocked that this movie doesn't take a side either way. It's just really a movie about human nature more than anything, and I really enjoyed that. And I thought it was just a really nice touch. And the score here is great as well. I love the score. The soundtrack is okay. I'll get to that in a second. But that's about all for the good. On to the bad. There's a couple things here that don't work. First of all, the soundtrack in this movie, there are some good soundtrack pin drops. But there are some that just do not fit the scene that they are in. It just felt out of place. And then you got some character decisions by certain characters that they just feel so overly stupid that it makes no sense why we're keeping this character with us when this character is obviously causing problems for us. That's another thing. Also, this movie used AI to generate posters. That's not cool. But that's about all for the bad. On to the final thoughts. I really enjoyed this movie. I had to watch it twice to really get my feelings on it, but I still really enjoyed it for the most part. Civil War was a surprisingly fun movie that I will be buying on Blu-ray, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Civil War. Have you seen this movie? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments if you have seen it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.